specific, how many of you heard Benny's performance last night?
Yeah.
I was going to ask you what you were thinking when you came out and did your first two monk tunes, because I felt like you channeled Monk. And then it was Benny too. But I felt for a while strongly that there it was, that there was Monk.
Thanks for saying that. We all know, anyone who's heard Monk, no one else but Monk could play like Monk, really.
Yeah.
Thank you. I want to respond
So
to that.
I wanted to ask you what you were thinking about, if you remember, or in general, but I was going to make yours more specific because I was fascinated with that
Okay, well,
performance.
thanks for saying that. Since you mentioned Monk and playing the Monk tunes and last night, actually, my father introduced me to jazz. He passed a couple of years ago. He played the tenor saxophone. Prez was his man, but he loved anyone that could play. And he met Houston, heard Houston and Etta Jones numerous times when they would come through the Bay Area where my parents lived. And he was, and continues to be somehow, even as he's passed on, like my most serious and supportive critic. But he introduced me to this music. I didn't know that it was called jazz, that it was African-American music. But from the time I was born, he was listening to a Monk record called Monk's Dream. Yeah. And I was hearing it like every day in the house. Yeah, I didn't know that, you know, anything about the music, the heritage behind it. I just heard the sound, and my father would be playing the LP, and he'd just be smiling and moving while it was going on. After a while, even before I started playing, I started to notice somehow I was able to discern that it was four people. It was a quartet. I was able to figure that out. It was 4 instruments, and somehow this magic thing was happening that while the record was turning, it was reproducing a sound. I could pick up on that as a child, and the sound was going through the air into my father's ears, and somehow going into his mind or his heart and evoking his feeling. I picked up on that as a kid, and that inspired me to want to play jazz. So Monk actually is very, and yet if I'm listening to either one of them on a record, in the moment I'm listening to them, that's what's happening. Either one of them, they play, even the time feels different. Monk's like right down in the middle of the beat, incredible time Monk has. And Oscar and Ray, they will tell you they like to be on top. If you put on a record of Oscar or Ray, usually at the end of the track the tempo's faster than it started, but it feels great along the way. So that showed me there's no right or wrong way to play. Certainly about you know, be honest, be yourself, and tell the truth. Somehow when we're listening to music, perfect example, Ray Charles. When you're listening to someone, none of us have lived Ray Charles's life in any sense. But when you hear him, whether he's singing or playing, you feel like you get it. You feel like you've been there, and he's telling your story. And I think the bridge is honesty. You know, not how many notes you play or what the style is. Like, be yourself. And the music encourages me to check into that away from what appears to be the arena of music, being with my instrument, playing, just being around people all the time, having a chance to be in conversation and listen and not just be waiting to say the funny joke I wanted to tell, but listen to what's going on. Music teaches me so much more about life than I may have had a chance to peep otherwise, not for playing. So yeah, Monk is a source for me. I know for some jazz musicians, some artists I should say, not just musicians, not just jazz musicians, it's very important in one's lifetime for some to try to do something that's pioneering, that's radical, that will set you apart from others, that will leave a legacy after you pass. For myself, I just want to play well. I have no agenda, zero agenda to become an innovator or try to do something revolutionary. I want to be a good person. I want to play from my heart. Like I said, we're just in life for a moment. I'd like to inspire some younger musicians to continue playing. I'd like to inspire some younger musicians to check out the great records that I, for one, am just trying to echo. For me as an individual, unlike some of my friends who I respect, if I can sound more like one of those great records, wonderful. I don't have a problem with that. But I know that my core intention is not to be derivative. It's just to play the music. and impart that feeling. So I may have gone way off on a tangent.
No, that was good.
Okay.
I was going to respond for myself on that one because I started, like Benny, I had a guitar-playing father who started me on a plastic flutophone at 5, teaching me standards by ear. And then, of course, I started classical. I have 2 degrees in classical music. I always played jazz along the way, but you don't get a lot of support in conservatory when you're getting degrees playing jazz on the side. And so I had some years there where I didn't get to play much, but the jazz was in there. And when I think about improvising now, I'm trying to play my authentic self. And I had so many people advising me along the way, some telling me that I couldn't do this for a career because I didn't double on saxophone. But also some people that said, oh, you got to play Brazilian music. Oh, you got to play, you know, Ray Brown always told me, oh, you got to play in the pocket, and you got to stay in the pocket, and don't be playing all that outside stuff and whatever. You know, I got every bit of advice along the way, which was all good. But now when I play, I think, is this your authentic self, Holly? Are you playing from your heart exactly what you feel like playing without any of those voices in your head? And so that's just another voice in that question.
Thank you.
Okay, so now so we'll take a few questions and for anybody, and feel free. We're all family.